So, this is the follow-up to the last episode. Remember how I said my story is similar to the movie How Stella Got Your Groove Back? If you've seen that. If you are a kid watching this, don't go watch that, okay? But if you are an adult watching this, my story happens very similar, but there was some changes, some stipulations that wasn't the same, okay? But how we met and everything was really a lot similar to that. So now, coming on with me so I can give y'all the follow-up, all right? If you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and subscribe and like it, because you won't like it anyway, all right? Coming on. Alright, so I said I would follow up. I know I left y'all on the cliffhanger last time, and y'all was like, for real, sis? Like, that's how you feel? You just gonna stop right there? Yup. Okay, and you back, so okay. Welcome back if you are not a returning, welcome back if you are not a first-time visitor, okay? And if you are a returning subscriber or a returning visitor, hey y'all, hey, and welcome if you are new, okay? My name is Tara Walker, and I am now revealing to the world I think it's like my fourth, I think it is, playlist. Is it the third or fourth playlist of my narcissistic story, a relationship that I was in. The narcissistic relationship and playlist is called How Tara Did Not Get Her Groove Back, okay? So now this is this is episode 2. I left y'all, if you haven't not seen it, go back and watch episode 1. But I left y'all off with how I met the Jamaican, and then and we have named him Sam for this video. Okay, that's not his name, but we're gonna name him that. We've named him that for this series, and Sam took my friend and I to supposedly to like a club or whatever, but they were shut down because there was something going on with the government at that time where they shut down clubs and stuff early. And so we came back to my hotel, and then my friend asked me, was I okay to stay with him by myself, because he said he wanted to continue talking and stuff. And I said, yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay. I said, are you good? She said, yeah, I'm good. So she left, and now we're in the car. So now, because, if you haven't been on a resort or whatever, what they give you is these little wristbands so they know where you belong, that you belong at that resort or whatever. And so, of course, if you don't have a wristband, whatever, they don't allow you on the property. So he found this little cut type thing, like across the street from the resort, right, that he could park and we could talk. And so we sat there, we did talk for a good while before anything began to happen. And what he told me, okay, now this is key, I need y'all to remember this, okay, put a pin in this, all right? He told me that he had a girlfriend, and he said he had a girlfriend for like 4 years or something like that. And he said, literally, just conveniently now, that he just broke up with her. I think he said like a couple of days prior or something like that. And so, of course, with anybody else, of course, it would be a red flag. But for me, okay, because I wasn't even at this point still, I wasn't even like on this wavelength of pursuing him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just met someone there. He was nice. Because remember, I said he's young, right? And so we just talking at this time. And so I'm not thinking of anything other than that. You know what I'm saying? Not even thinking of a little, I guess you could call fling or whatever. I wasn't even thinking that. So, but he proceeded to tell me that and everything. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he asked me about myself. And I told him, no, I didn't have a boyfriend. And I told him I was actually abstinent, which was true at the time. Okay, so let me give you a little backstory with that. So I met him in May, my birthday night in May of 2019. This just Jamaican. The last person that I had sexual relations with was one of them, like, friends with benefits type persons. was either like the August prior or September prior. And the reason why I believe it was around that time is because the night that we did something, we met up at a bar, and I remember specifically him having like on a t-shirt, and I remember being nice outside. So it was either between August or September, around that time, the last time I had. And the reason why I decided to stop was because I just got tired of feeling like I was a part-time lover. Like, I felt like I deserved, even though I was in sin, I was in full-blown sin, I was in backslidden state. But even then, I knew I deserved better than just this person hit me up when it was convenient for them to pop over at night. But because of, and I'm not going to share why, because the situation was complicated. And the reason why I'm not going to share why is because I know that somebody from my past still watches my channel. And if I was to divulge intricate details in this situation with that person, the person that watches my channel will figure out who I'm talking about, and it could cause some friction, and it just starts stuff. So I'm not going to divulge intricate details about who this person was. It's just know that they it was a reason why that they came to see me at night and stuff like that. And so I deserved for somebody to to take me out during the day. I deserve for anybody to be able to see us. It shouldn't have been I shouldn't be private. No woman, no man deserves to be private in your life. And don't do that. You don't deserve that. You should be seen by the world. Nobody should be ashamed of you or the relationship, or the situationship or whatever it is. You should be able to be wined and dined or dated or, courted, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don't sell yourself short for nobody. And so although my flesh loved, of course, the intercourse with this person, I knew I deserved better than that. And so, and listen, and this what can I minister to you real quick? Let me minister to you quick. Don't click off real quick. But let me minister to you real quick. This is what the devil does, though. Remember how I told y'all, if you haven't seen it before, I always say how the God knows you, but the enemy studies you, right? The Lord told me this years back. The enemy studies you so well. He knows your likes, your dislikes, your triggers, you know what I'm saying? What moves you, what makes you emotional, what makes you cry. You know what I'm saying? He's been studying you. And a lot of y'all, he's been studying you since birth, okay? So because now I am getting ready to turn 40, at this time I'm 39, right? I'm getting ready to turn 40. Of course, still no children. I definitely want children, right? Around this time and everything. So the dude, the friends with benefits, actually offered to be my baby daddy. He said, why don't we have a baby together? And I thought he was playing. Like, I laughed, I bust out laughing in his face, and I was like, man, stop playing with me. And then when I looked at him, when I stopped laughing and looked at him, and his face was straight as a board, and there was no smirk on his face, I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah. I said, why? He said, why not? And so then he proceeded to tell me why. He was like, because he knew I wasn't like, he knew I wasn't no roller in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hop from, you know what I'm saying, so you know what, to you know what, to you know what. Now, I had a season, and a lot of us females do, unfortunately. They call it a hoe phase. But that was back in 2014. Now, I didn't have many, but I had more than what I was used to. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've never been the person that just hop. I've always been more of a relationship type person. But that year, it was like, well, I don't know if it was because it was a year after I got divorced or what, but it was more than, like I said, it wasn't many. It was, but to me, for a few, for me, is many. I know people that had hundreds, but for me, just a few was too much. But so I had did that already. You know what I'm saying? He knew I had a decent job. I had my own house. I had just moved into this house. And I'll just say he knew I was good with children. I'll just leave it at that. And so I actually considered it. And I consider this what the enemy does. You know what I'm saying? The enemy will here's my glasses. He'll dangle something in your face. You know what I'm saying? He see what you're trying to do. He see I'm in my mind, and when he's not here, I'm talking to God about like, I really don't want to keep doing this with this person. I deserve better, blah, 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 blah. But then he had the enemy had the enemy, okay, dangle something in your face that you know that you very, very much desire. And the enemy knew that. So I actually considered it. I considered it. But then I thought about what God promised me. At that time, God had already promised me my husband. At that time, God had already promised me children. And so I didn't want to jump ahead of God again like I did the last time when I got married the first time. Going outside of what God said. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to, like we as women, because we getting older, and we trying to form our own lives, and we trying to go ahead. God moving too slow. Let me go ahead and move this on along, because God moving too slow. Look, I'm 46 now, and I'm still not a birth mother yet. Okay. But so I considered it because I was like, well, I'm turning 40. Da, da, da. But then, like I said, I remember God's promise. And God's promise is no matter how long it takes, it always yay and amen. Now, some of y'all looking back at me like now, like, you 46, girl. You should probably give up by now. I would never give up on God because he never gave up on me. Whoo, I hear you, Lord. I said about the minister. Calm me down, Lord, because see, I'll go in, okay? I'm trying to record this video, but I'll go in because I love the goodness of God. I don't care how long it takes. If God said he was going to do it, he's going to do it, okay? And I did conceive last year, but a witch put a spell on me and stole my baby. That's a story for another time. That video is on here. You can go back and watch that. Anywho, I was just like, I'm too good for this. I am too much of a queen to be somebody's part-time lover. So even though, like I said, it was tempting, I was like, nah, I can't do it. So I brought him up to say that that's how long it had been. I was serious about my abstinence. I was like, and then if it wasn't him, it wasn't nobody else neither, because he was just the friends with benefits. And so I wasn't about to bring nobody else into my bed at that time. I just was like, I can't do it. I deserve better. And so going back to Sam, when we were sitting in the car having a conversation, and I told him the last time I had done anything with anybody, he looked at me with his eyes big. So then you talking about that was May. So the last time I asked him was September. So you talking about October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So then you talking about 8 months or whatever. And he was just like, he was so shocked. And I was like, why you shocked? And so we had that conversation. And like I said, he told me that he supposedly had, just broken off with his girlfriend. But like I said, I wasn't seeing anything about him or anything. I just was having a conversation. But then, one thing led to another, and during the conversation we end up, he kissed me, and then there was just, like, I'll just say this to just leave off the bunch of details that y'all don't need, because y'all don't need to be getting y'all flesh listening to this, okay? No, we did not have intercourse, but there was a bunch of foreplay, and we'll just leave it at that. And so, like I said, we already had each other's number and everything like that, and so he was like, he'll see what I'm doing tomorrow, well, later, which was my actual, remember, because this is my actual birthday now. He'll hit me up and see what I'm doing later on. And I said, okay, cool. And so I left and went back up into the hotel. And so later on that day, my friend and I, we went down to the pool. And while I was at the pool, he texted me over the phone and said, can he come pick me up and everything like that. And so I asked my friend, you know what I'm saying, because I ain't in the business of ditching my friends. And she was like, girl, go and have a good time. Now, even though I was in the flesh, okay, and in the world, I did appreciate she was like me, okay. I'm very independent, meaning like I'm not gonna pout and be in my feelings if you go off, you know what I'm saying? And I'm here by my. In other words, I know how to entertain myself. She was like that, you know what I'm saying? She know how to entertain herself. She know how to have a good time, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. And she did. She told me when I got back, because actually, was it that night of the dance? It was a Jamaican that was checking her out too. And they end up exchanging numbers and talking back and forth as well. But she just was, you know, even if that didn't happen, she was able to, she was a big girl, you know, and she was able to take care of herself. But I still asked her, because if she did have a problem with it, then it would have been a no. And she was like, go ahead, have a good time, be careful, be safe and everything. I was, of course I will. And so went upstairs, changed, shower, changed, got into I put it on a little dress, but I put my bathing suit up on it because I didn't know what it was we were going to do. And he took me out. So we went to this little bar. We went to, I think it was Margaritaville. I think. And so we went there, and he's like, it was just like really cute. Like he was really acting real into me. We sat at the table. We sat at the table. No. This is what happened first. When we went there twice. What happened was, we went there first, and then nobody came to our table to ask about us. You know, to not ask about us, but you know, nobody asked us if we wanted a drink. We sat on one of the benches outside. Nobody asked us what we wanted. No waiter, no waitress. Nobody came. It's like we were being totally ignored. Now, at the time, I'm talking with him, and we just, conversing. And for a while, I didn't even realize it. Like I couldn't even tell. But then what happened was, I looked up, and I seen this woman and this man. And she's looking at me with daggers in her eyes. Like she just was, her face was disgruntled and everything. And then she said something to the man that she was with, and he turned around and looked at me and whatever. And so I'm a person, like, first of all, I have a gift of discerning the spirits. First of all, that's number one. But I can sense environments and stuff like that when I'm not wanted. And after she did it the first time, even though I'm still talking to him now, because okay, so my father also raised me. He's ex-military, my birth father. So he also raised me when I was a kid to always tell me to always watch your surroundings. So I'm used to that anyway. But I peeped old girl the way she looked at me, and I know she said something to her to her dude or whatever. Then he looked at me, and then he just kind of like turned around. I guess he felt awkward because he locked eyes with me. But I remembered. So I'm still talking to the gentleman. I'm still talking to Sam, the youngin. We're gonna call him the youngin, okay? And the YN, like what people call it here in the U.S. But I'm peeping the couple. I'm still peeping. She still was stealing like evil glances over at me. So I was like, oh, okay. She don't like me because I'm an American, right? And later on, somebody that I know will confirm that. She told me that a lot of times, I'm not saying all of them, a lot of the Jamaican women didn't like to see their Jamaican men with the American women or whatever. They didn't like that. And so I was like, got it, Pete. And I was told this later on by somebody, but it just confirmed what I already sensed it. I was like, yeah, homegirl got a problem with me. And so nobody never came. So we left, and I can't remember what we did I think he was talking to a friend of his or something like that. He met up with a friend of his. He was talking to him for a brief minute, and then we went back. To see if somebody would wait on this time. So, but this time we went to the bar, but when the lady first greeted us, I said, "Is somebody gonna wait on this time?" And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "We was just here a little while ago, and nobody came to ask." She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, okay. So we went to the bar. He told me I could order a drink. I ordered a drink. And then they had like a upstairs area where that was a little bit more quieter than downstairs, a little louder downstairs. But it was still some music playing. It was like a band over in the sand playing. And it was like really nice because just the ambiance of it. It was in the middle of the afternoon, but it was a nice breeze that day. And he was singing to me, just really making me feel really, really girly. And I was like, okay. The sun was like in his face a little bit, so I could see the actual color of his eyes. And my eyes are light brown, but you can't tell it unless the sun is hitting or light is hitting it. The sun was hitting his eyes, so I can see that his was a little lighter shade of brown like mine. And we talked about that, and so he's a little bit you know what I'm saying, just cozying up or whatever. And then we left, and so we went down to his car. Now, here's why I said, it's similar to Stella, but not the same. If I'm not mistaken, on the movie with her, I think they might have did something. When I say did something, I mean their intercourse was like maybe her second or third night or whatever there. I haven't seen it in a long time. This was not supposed to happen, but I'll just spare the details or whatever. But we had intersex. We had intercourse in the back seat of his vehicle. I'm just telling my story. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can judge me, whatever, all y'all want. I don't care, okay? I am not proud of it, and not in the least, okay? But I thank God for forgiving God. He's already forgiven me a long time ago about this. But that's what happened. But I didn't plan it. But I think he did. I think what happened was that night prior, when I told y'all we fooled around and stuff in the car, I think he wanted to then. But I wasn't about to do that like when I just met you. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't planned for me to do it that second day either. But you know what I'm saying? It happened. So now I get back to the hotel. He dropped back over to the hotel, and I tell my friend, and she laughing, and I'm just like, girl, I can't believe I just did, like, how do I jump from not doing anything with anybody 8 months ago to now doing something with somebody on the daggone second night I met them? Well, who am I right now? And that's it for this episode. I know that was a lot, but that's what had happened. And so if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button so that this joint can push through the algorithm, and I can, because I really love for God to always get the glory from your story. I want people to watch these series and these episodes so that you can always see what the glory that God gets at the end of my story. I'll get to that, okay? Because he's just gonna get his glory no matter what. And if you can relate to anything I said in my stories thus far, drop a line for me in the comments. If you ain't, you know what I'm saying, if you want to share, if you care. And I love you, but know that God loves you so much more. I will see you on the next episode. Bye.